What's going on, everybody? It is your girl, Dana Patrice, aka The Black Fairy, and we are here with another video. Today's video, we're diving in deep on what's going on in Somalia. Well, I don't know if I'd call it a deep dive, but I'm definitely talking about these laws that Somalia has rejected, preventing child brides and also freedom of religion. Um, this is going to be an interesting one. So I do want to give a trigger warning as it will depict children, um, topics of SA, and um, it's an uncomfortable topic, but I think we need to explore this as a community.
Yes, I fall in love with myself and I want someone to share it with me. I want someone to share me with me.
So yeah, you guys, before I begin, I just want to again give a gentle trigger warning. In this video, I'll be discussing topics like SA, child marriage, and the control of women under religion. These are, of course, very heavy subjects, and I know that for many of us, they're not just topics, they are lived experiences. So please, please, please take care of yourself while you watch. If at any point it feels too heavy, it is okay to pause or step away or just be like, Dana, I really can't listen to this one. Your peace comes first for me. So let's get into it. Yeah, I just want to be clear. I don't want to shock or re-traumatize anyone. Um, this conversation is to have an honest, educated conversation about how belief systems, especially within Abrahamic religions, have been used to justify harm towards women and children. Because the more that we understand where these ideas come from, the better we can challenge them, right? And then we can protect each other from the cycles that have really been keeping us silent. So let me get into the story. I was minding my business on Threads and I came across a TikTok video and my heart completely sank. Somalia had rejected laws setting the marriage age of consent to 18 years old. The images broke my heart. I'm going to play it right now. So this video took me on a deep dive because I was completely ignorant to this being the norm in this culture. Did you see how young those children were, pregnant with children? Children having infants in their arms, looking miserable. And who could blame them? To be a mother at that age, I could never imagine. The physical part itself, just having to carry a child at that age, is extremely dangerous. I couldn't imagine. I did it at 28, and I just couldn't imagine being. Some of these girls looked like they were definitely under 10, y'all. Definitely under 10. There was children. I just thinking about the emotional and mental damage as well, y'all. Like, what the F is going on? Is this 2025 or not? My ignorance hurt me. It's not even a foreign thing. This really does still happen here, under all our noses, even in North America. But I'm rambling now, so let me continue. So, this is another video. The girl is an ex-Muslim, and she does a great job of explaining things and why this is. Since this isn't my religion or my culture, I thought it was best to have someone who was, or used to be, walk us through it. Here's her reaction video where she explains what's happening and kind of what's been happening.
Breaking news. This is huge. Somalia has gone left. Somalia has gone liberal. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Let me explain. With these new laws, Somalia will no longer be 99.9% Muslim. The government is pushing a new law of freedom of religion, meaning in the future you may see Somali Christians, Somali agnostics, Somali Jews, and even worse, Somali atheists. And they will also not be allowing marriages under the age of 18. So out with Islam and in with Western-made laws.
Bro definitely made this video to rage bait because I just checked the news today and Somalia actually rejected these laws as proposition. They were just proposed. They were not actually written into law, but they rejected them. So he made this video to show you guys what Muslim guys actually think. They don't respect anyone who's not Muslim, and they want to be legally allowed to marry children, period. Let's read this article together. The ministry underlined that while Somalia supports children's rights, Islamic teachings and the national constitution take precedence over international commitments, adding that provisions of the charter that contradict Islamic law will not apply in the country. Key clauses rejected: freedom of religion, which was Article 9. Somali children are Muslims, and the right to change religion will not be recognized. Privacy of the child. Article 10. Parental authority remains paramount, and no external body can override it. Marriage age, Article 21A. The Charter's blanket ban on marriage under 18 conflicts with Islamic law, which permits marriage based on religious criteria rather than age. Adoption, Article 24A. Somalia will not recognize adoption in the Western legal form but will uphold kafala, custodianship, in line with Islamic practice. And definition of adulthood, which is Article 2A, the Charter fixes adulthood at 18, but Somalia applies Islamic definitions of maturity. I find that quite interesting considering the fact that Muslims are always in my comment section arguing about how Islam doesn't actually permit child marriage, even though they know that their prophet married a 6-year-old child. The official statement of the Somalia ministry says, "Our religion and constitution are the foundations of all laws in Somalia. Clauses that contradict Islamic teachings cannot be implemented." I find this incredibly heartbreaking because according to the girlsnotbrides.org website, 45% of girls are married in Somalia by the age of 18, and 8% of them are married by the age of 15. So child marriage is definitely happening in Somalia. They had the chance to change this, and the ministry just rejected it. Also, who's going to tell him that there are Somali Christians, and there are Somali Jews, and there are Somali atheists, and they're just minding their business? They're not trying to get involved with anything. They're not trying to get married to children. They're just minding their business, practicing their faith or lack thereof in peace. Why is that so threatening to Muslim people? I'm actually glad he made this video because it proves that everything that I've been saying about Muslim men is true. The way that he fearmongered by writing "the end is near" at the bottom of his video just goes to show how threatened Muslim people actually are by the freedom of children and women. They actually correlate the freedom of children and women to the end times. I watched the rest of his video, and at one point he said, "We're only on this earth to worship Allah." And I was like, bro, I've already said this in a few of my videos before, but Muslim people believe that God doesn't need our worship. So if God doesn't need your worship, why are you on this earth only to worship him? I'm really tired of Muslim men with large platforms spewing fear-mongering information that they haven't even actually fact-checked. They're just regurgitating in an effort to A, be viral and make money, and B, make themselves seem like they have it all figured out. Like their only purpose is to follow the rules of the book and to stay obedient and to marry a child, and then they're gonna go to heaven when they die. It's a twisted mindset, and the people who follow it and preach it need to be checked into a mental hospital.
Learning this kind of shocked me. It hurt me a little inside knowing that this is still happening, that it's actually like on mass. I was a little more triggered than usual because earlier that week I was confronted with the same disregard for women and sexual assault, listening to a deconstruction live, where I had to listen to a man. I didn't have to, but where I where I listened to a man who was openly excusing rape. You know, I have to use that term, but I'm talking about sexual assault, SA. He wasn't denying that it happens, but was defending why it was understandable. He spoke with confidence, quoting scripture, twisting morality until it sounded righteous. I am going to play the clip. It is disturbing, but I want to talk about why he said what he said, isn't new, and kind of why it feels very familiar if you're willing to look at the amount of SA that happens behind church doors and within church families. Because we like to think that this kind of thinking only exists in extremist spaces, that it's a them problem, maybe a Muslim issue, or even a Christian issue. Maybe it's just a cultural one just somewhere else. Or we aren't Muslims like that. We aren't Christians like that. Right? But the truth is that the mindset lives right inside of Christianity as well as many other religions. So I'm going to play that clip now.
Lee, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can I get your age? Let me know if you're a believer, deconstructing, or an atheist. And Fee, do you want to do this one? Start this one?
Yeah.
I'm a believer in God, and I'm 66 years old.
What are your thoughts on the prompt?
Hello?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the prompt?
Is mercy in the Bible truly mercy or favoritism disguised as grace? I like the prompt first of all, but I say God have mercy on whom He will have mercy, and who He won't, He will not. As it says in the 9th chapter of Romans, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will harden whom I will harden.
Doesn't that then support the actual prompt? The fact that if it's on who he wants to, then that's favoritism, designed or disguised as grace, because ultimately it was his plan all along. So can you really call it mercy then?
Yeah, because whoever He favor, He'll have mercy on, and whoever He doesn't, He won't.
Then that's not a equitable distribution of mercy.
I mean, He's God, so He do whatever He wants.
Right. So he just does a fucked up unfair thing, which makes him a fucked up unfair God. Because
Hello?
yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear?
Sorry, you guys. They had trouble getting a connection with him. I'm just going to skip to where they finally get him back on the line.
I'm sorry. Can you hear
We
me?
can hear you. Can you hear us?
I hear you now. I apologize.
Okay.
I was going down the garage. It was my fault.
Oh, okay.
Damn, you got a big ass garage.
Probably at work.
Yes, sir. No, I'm headed to work.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Leaving my
Okay.
But God
All
does
right.
whatever He wants to do.
So to call it mercy and Lee, like that's pointless. If ultimately you're going to appeal to God's sovereignty, then what you're basically saying is any attribute that he displays is ultimately a functionality of his favoritism. Because if he shows mercy to who he wants to show mercy to, he hardens the heart of whomever he wants to harden the heart of. That's just God's sovereignty. He doesn't have to exemplify any other characteristics or qualities. So what's the point of calling it mercy if it's ultimately just favoritism?
I can agree with that. He does whatever he wants to do. But the thing is, whoever he decides to favor, to them, it is mercy.
Well, right, but to the person he does not decide to favor, to them it is not mercy, and that's not fair.
That it is if he wants to. I mean, who can tell God what to do? Just like in your house, you can throw out what you want, and what you want to keep, you keep. And I
Well,
can't
right.
criticize you for that.
Sure, I would want you to criticize me for that if I did that to human beings, right? If we're talking about spaghetti, sure, I may throw it out on day 2, you may throw it out on day 4. We can disagree about that. But what we're talking about is human beings who your God created. So if what you're basically saying is that you serve a God who acts like a bully and behaves like a bull in a china shop, then okay, but I don't think that that's admirable, nor is it worthy of worship.
Right. And all due respect, God doesn't care what we think. I mean, if he's God, then why would he care what a creature think?
Well, I think he doesn't even want you to think, because to think
No, he
would well, let me finish. It doesn't seem
sure.
like he wants you to think at all. So I would agree with you. He doesn't care what you think, because his goal
Beautiful.
is, yeah, his goal is to get you to not think and behave like a robot, to approve of disgusting things and just say, oh, God is God. It is ultimately like our politicians in the United States are acting right now, where there are rules, but only those beneath them have to follow it. That's not, he doesn't have to care about it, but I also don't have to care about him.
Exactly. And he doesn't care that you don't care.
And that's fine, Lee.
Just as
So
the
if
people in the White House
But that
doesn't care
also
what we
isn't
think.
true. That also is not true that your God doesn't care.
if he didn't
Like the
care, he
whole
wouldn't
purpose of
punish
him
it.
sending his son.
I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Go
I
go
didn't
ahead, V.
understand that.
No, you can go ahead, thinker, because I was like, if he didn't care, then he wouldn't have a punishment for not doing what he wanted us to do. So that's just not, that's not true. Like, you can frame it that way for the purpose of protecting your God, but like to thinker's point, that was the whole point of him sending Jesus to die for us, or for y'all.
Nah, okay.
Also, Abraham. Abraham said to him, surely you're not this unjust God. Like, he literally negotiated with Abraham because he cared what Abraham thought about him.
No, he didn't.
When yes, he did. Yes, he did. He negotiated with Abraham when like he literally had a conversation with himself and was like, should I tell Abraham what I'm about to do to Sodom? Like, he literally had an entire conversation with himself
Okay.
and tried to decide like if he should tell Abraham what he was about to do.
But that's God doing what he wanted to do.
I typed in Abraham 19. Hold on. I
That's,
mean
That's
Genesis
my
19.
favorite chapter.
And then
you got that?
I'm looking like, why it say that passage don't exist? Like, like it say it don't exist. They took it
Don't
out the
tell me
Bible.
Abraham
Well,
chapter 12.
I don't see why. I don't see
Hold
why
on,
you
I'm
don't.
gonna show you what I'm talking about. It
Sure.
says, then the men said to Lot, hold on, no, up here. Wait, is it 18? Did you just
Damn, Lee.
like? Can you say excuse me, Lee?
But you excuse me. I didn't know you heard me.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So it says, then the men set out from there and they looked towards Sodom, and Abraham went away. Abraham went with them to set them on their way. The Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? Seeing that Abraham shall become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. Right? So he's talking to himself here.
Right.
Then he says, no. He answers himself. He says, nah, for I have chosen him that he may charge his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing righteousness and justice, so that the Lord may bring about for Abraham what he has promised him. Then the Lord said, how great is the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah, and how very grave their sin. For I must go down and see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry that has come to me, and if not, I will know. So the men turned toward from there and went toward Sodom, while Abraham remained standing before the Lord. So now Abraham is standing before your God, having a conversation. Then Abraham came near and said, "Will you indeed sweep away the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there are 50 righteous within the city. Will you then sweep away the place and not forgive it for the 50 righteous who are in it?" Then he says, "Far be it from you to do such a thing, to slay the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous fare as the wicked. Far be that from you. Shall not the judge of the earth do what is just?" And then what does your God say when Abraham tells your God what he thinks about his decision?
He said, "All right, Abraham, give me 50, give me 100. Count
So,
down,
so he
Abraham."
cared. So he cared
No,
what
no, he
Abraham
didn't.
thought. Why
No,
did he,
he
hold on.
didn't.
Had he already made the decision to destroy
Okay,
Sodom?
but I listened to you read the
No,
scripture.
wait.
I was
Had,
patient
had,
with
had
you.
he already made the decision to destroy Sodom?
He did.
Okay.
Yes,
And
he did.
so when Abraham tells your God what he thinks about that decision, does he say, "I'm sovereign, I do what I want"?
Nope. What he did.
No.
Hold on now. He
No.
tell it.
Wait. I'm not asking you what he did. He did not say, "I'm sovereign, I do what I want," right? What he did was negotiate with Abraham more than once.
No, you are creating your own narrative.
So it says, if I find at Sodom 50 righteous in the city, I will forgive the whole place of their sake. That's not your God negotiating with Abraham.
No, God
What is it?
came down. Hold on. You asked me a question. Then, as soon as I begin to answer,
Sure. Go
you
ahead.
jump in.
Go ahead.
He's
No, let me remind you who the host
You
is.
better.
Right? Let me
What the-
remind you who the host is. And when I asked you a question, you said no, and then I said, "What is it?"
And I'm trying to tell you, but you jumped in.
No, I didn't. That was me
Oh,
asking you what is it while you were trying to tell me while I was still finishing my answer.
okay, got you. God came down to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, and he was gonna do it. But since he had a creature that think he's more righteous than God, God said, "Okay, find 100, find 50, and I spared Abraham. Since you think you're greater than me, you find some righteous people." And
The fuck do
Abraham
you
thought
think
about it.
that is?
See, that's what I'm saying. You
That's him
jumping in. See,
negotiating.
that's what I mean by you jumping in.
You're literally saying the same thing I'm saying. What do you
You,
think that is? Just because you
you,
say that Abraham thought that he was more righteous than your God, it doesn't matter. He cared what Abraham thought, and he
no, he did
negotiated.
not. He
Oh
did
my
not.
fucking gosh! So
That is
so what? So what was
you
the
are
purpose? So what was the purpose of him saying, "Okay, Abraham, since you think you so righteous, if you can find 50, what was the purpose of that?"
because to show Abraham, because when they to show Abraham that Abraham, when you really look at it, you know, ain't none of them good down there. And when
Why? Why
Abraham
did he need
thought
to show
about it,
Abraham that?
Abraham went from 100 to a 50. From 50,
Why
I
did
mean
he?
Abraham.
Why did?
Hold on now.
Hey, slow down. No,
Can we
slow
talk?
down. No, because there is something we're trying to understand. Why did he need to show Abraham that?
Because he was wanted Abraham to look at what you Abraham get past your emotions. You
I.
know the people in Sodom and Gomorrah. Are
It
they
doesn't matter what. Why did Abraham need to do that? If your God was the one who made the decision, why did your God need Abraham to understand that? That's my question.
because he knew that Abraham already understood that.
What?
God knew Abraham understood
let's
that.
say. Hold on. Let's say your God knew that Abraham understood it. Why did your God need Abraham to understand that he already understood it?
Because he wanted to bring it to Abraham's attention, also for
Why?
for the readers,
Why?
for the future, for the
For the
conversation we
future.
having, for the
So
conversation we having
so
now.
why?
Abraham didn't even know
Why?
this was going to be
Because
written
they're
down.
non-righteous. They were men with men, young lady, and they were
No,
women
so
with
that
women. And
no,
God
no,
was
it wasn't.
not going to allow
No,
that
it
to
wasn't.
happen. Yes,
No,
it
it wasn't.
was.
Let's go back. Let's go read what actually this says.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna read the whole thing.
I'm good.
Let's yeah. Okay. Cool beans. It says the two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. He said, "Please, my lords, turn aside to your servant's house and spend the night and wash your feet. Then you can rise early and go on your way." They said, "No, we'll spend the night in the square." But he urged them strongly, so they turned aside to him and entered his house, and he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. But before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both young and old, you see that? Young and old.
Yes.
All the people to the last man. Okay? And all the men in Sodom,
Yes.
both young and old. That
Yes.
includes kids, that includes teenagers, that includes the elderly, every man in Sodom.
Yes.
Okay? Surrounded the house. And they called to Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we may know them." Okay?
What they mean by know
Lot,
them?
listen.
Hold
Hold on.
What
Listen.
does they
Hold
mean by
on.
know them?
Hey. Listen. Lot went out of the door to the men, shut the door after him, and said, "I beg you, my brothers, do not act so wickedly. Look, I have 2 daughters who have not known a man. Let me bring them out to you and do to them as you please." Because your God is like, okay, you can rape women, but don't sodomize the men. "Only do nothing to these men, for they have come under the shelter of my roof." But they replied, "Stand back." And they said, "This fellow came here as an alien." Who is the fellow that came into Sodom to live as an alien, Lee, that they're talking about?
That was God.
Your God lived in Sodom as an alien?
No, he came down to deal with them.
No. Who are they? When they say stand back, after Lot says to them, "Don't do this, take my daughters." And they replied, who are they replying to?
They replying to Lot.
To Lot. And they say, "Stand back.
Stand back, Lot.
Right. This fellow came here as an alien." What does that mean?
We saw men that's not from here showed up at your house, and
No.
they in your house. We want to have sex with them.
That's not true. Okay, hold on, stop. That's not true. This fellow, not fellows. There's no plural there. Do you see that? That's talking about one man. There were 2 men with Lot. But when they say stand back, and then they say this fellow, right? This man here came here as an alien, and he would play the judge?
That's
like
God.
Lot. No, it's not. Lot lived in Sodom as a foreigner. They
I didn't say
allowed
Lot,
Lot.
Liz.
They
I did
allowed
not say Lot, Liz.
Hey, Lee,
shush.
you
God
don't-
damn. Lot lived in Sodom as a foreigner. He is the alien they are referring to. So when they said this fellow Lot came here as a foreigner, now he want to judge us. Then he says, you see this word here? "Now we will deal worse with you." Who is the you? Who is the you that they're talking to?
I mean, you were cursing, and the other guy was speaking in. I didn't catch it.
Who is the you when they say, "Now we will deal worse with you"? Who is the you?
You have to read back before that for me to get the
Stand
context.
back. And they said, "This fellow came here as an alien, and he would play the judge. Now we will deal worse with you." Who's the you?
Lot.
Lot. So they're saying to Lot, "You came here and lived as an alien amongst us. Now you want to play the judge against us? We're going to deal worse with you, Lot, than with them." So they weren't trying to have homosexual relationships with the foreigners. They didn't want these foreigners in their land. They were going to do sodomy, like an act of war. This was them going after the 2 foreigners that Lot brought into their land without permission, because Lot's a foreigner his damn self. And then Lot is judging them for every man in the city coming to fight for their fucking city. And they tell Lot, "Oh, now you want to judge us after we let you live amongst us? We gonna fuck you up worse than we about to fuck them up." Because that's what they say right here. Now we will deal worse with you than with them. This was not about homosexuality, but y'all stop at this damn scripture here, right? At this scripture right here, where it says, bring them out so that we may know them, and y'all don't read
Hold
any
on.
further.
When we shall know that we may know them. What do they mean by that we shall know them?
I just
Get to
explained
know
that
each other over
they were
coffee.
going to gang rape them as a act of war.
But still, they were going to gang rape them.
It wasn't about homosexuality.
You don't
It
gang
was
rape
sodomy.
somebody.
It was sodomy. It had
You
nothing
don't-
to do with same-sex relationships. It was an act of war.
So screwing them was an act of war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
No.
Lord have mercy. God, dog.
So you don't think rape is an act of war?
That is raping another man with an. I would not rape another man in an act of war.
You do
Please.
realize that
Act of
that's
war.
that's what they did in antiquity. They did that during the transatlantic slave
No,
trade.
I do
You do
not
realize
realize
they're
that.
doing
No, I
that now
do
over in the
not
Middle
realize
East.
that.
Well, then maybe your God could actually teach you some shit, and you wouldn't be sitting here thinking that this was about homosexuality. Especially when when the men say to Lot, "We about to fuck you up worse than with them." They were going to do worse to Lot. This was not about having lustful homosexual relationships.
What was
The
it?
reason it was an act of war. They're telling Lot, we're going to deal worse. That word worse there. With you than with them.
So whatever they were going to do with Lot that was worse than them, that means what were they going to do? They were going to sleep with the men. They were going to have intercourse with the men. What was they going to have worse with Lot?
They were going
What
to
would
take
be
the
worse with
man's
Lot?
status, and worse with Lot was probably killing him.
Probably. We are discussing
Name something else. Name something else. Name something else that would have done
Probably.
worse.
And they say, Lot, open the door that we might know them. What you mean, no? Intercourse.
Exactly.
Intercourse.
It was sodomy.
Yes. There was sodomy, and that was the problem in that city of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Let me ask you a question. Was your
You
God
shouldn't have gone back up.
was your God not displeased with the fact that Lot offered his daughters out to be raped instead of the men?
Yes, have the women. Lot saying, I got women that you can have intercourse with. Why would you
So
want
it's okay to rape.
What?
It's okay to rape the women. It's okay to rape the women, but not the men.
Yes.
Did you just fucking say yes?
Yes.
You just said yes.
Yes, over
did.
God. Yes.
Y'all are fucking disgusting
Yes.
motherfuckers.
Yes.
How is God getting raped in this? That makes no sense.
That's what Lot said. I didn't say that's what God said, because God blinded.
No, you said it's better for the women to get
They
raped
could
over
not
God,
find the
but God's
door.
not in this equation.
God closed the door, told Lot, get back. They're not.
You said it was
Don't worry
better for
about
the
it.
women to be raped over God. God's not in this
Yes.
equation.
You trying to tell me a woman is more important than God? That was Lot conversation.
Nigga, God
That was
wasn't
not-
in the
So,
story.
Would you let a man rape your daughter for your God?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Oh my fucking gosh! I
But that was,
fucking cannot.
Are you telling me a woman
fucking
is greater
cannot.
than God? A woman is greater than God? You raising hell about a woman over God? Wow. And that was Lot conversation. That was not God's conversation.
You know what, Mr. Lee, I want to say this to you, and I want to say it really clearly, right? There is something psychologically flawed about a grown-ass human being who could so very casually and even excitedly speak about the fact that they would let their daughter be sexually violated for an imaginary being. Like, there's a certain level of delusion that takes. And it really does, like, it breaks my heart a little bit, because you vehemently and repeatedly said, yes, you think that a woman's, her humiliation is nothing. The fact that she would be absolutely dishonored in that way, it doesn't touch your heart in any sort of way, because the only thing you think about is the glory of this God, which is ultimately about your own satisfaction. And I think that in and of itself is one of the many reasons that I would never even think about worshiping a God that you people worship, because it robs you of basic human decency. It completely requires that you unplug from all empathy for the purpose of doing what you think this God would want you to do, and y'all are not safe people to be around.
That was not God's
Hold on,
decision. That was
hold on for a
God.
second. Hold on, you illiterate motherfucker. When you get muted in the chat for typing in all caps, especially after we just had that conversation about not to do it, don't hop in my request box. I'm not bringing you up. Caps are for mods only, y'all. Like, we just had a whole conversation about that. Caps are for mods only and for people who have a vision impairment. Typing in all caps and
Miss me and you
one
talk.
word. Stop talking
We
while
are
I'm
talking
talking.
here.
Stop talking while I'm talking. Type it in all caps and one word, and the rest of your sentences in lowercase will still get you muted, right? Vision. If you have a vision impairment, yes, please reach out to a mod so that we do not mute you. Okay, that
Oh
is
no,
no, no,
y'all
no.
shouldn't mute that
Unmute them.
person.
Unmute them that have a
Unmute
vision
them. Yeah.
impairment. Yeah, they have a vision impairment. So take a screenshot of that profile so that we know in the future not to mute them. But y'all, it's for people who have a vision impairment and mods only. Okay, and please, yeah, don't lie about it. Okay, like, just be honest. It's okay that you can't type in caps. You will survive. Okay, go ahead, Lee.
Okay, what I'm saying is that was not conversation to the people. That was not God's conversation.
I'm not
What
talking
God
about
did, what
I'm not
God
talking
did
I'm not
is
talking
brought
about
Lord
Lot.
back in the
Mr.
house.
Lee, Mr. Lee, I'm not talking about Lot right now. You were talking about Lot with Thinker.
Yeah,
I'm
but you was
talking, no, hush. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you as a human being who you sound old enough to know better, but I don't think that age clearly has
$66.
plays. Yeah,
you won't
66
let
is a
me talk.
definite. Well,
If you were right, you would let me.
Hey, if you would shut up, we could hear.
and it's not that I'm not right. I'm
You're
saying
not
what.
right. You don't know what you.
Hey, chill out before I do to you what they was trying to do to your boy.
And
You know what that means.
the crazy part about it is I'm referring to something that came out of your mouth. So unless you said it wrong, then I'm pretty sure I'm right. You said yes. Thinker asked you, would you let your daughter be raped if your God or something, to protect your God or something like that? And you said yes repeatedly. That's what I'm talking about. Are you taking that back?
He
He left.
left.
This is disgusting.
But the fact that he screamed yes, yeah, like, you would let
Several
your daughter
times.
be raped for a God that you've never seen? What the
Like, who's
fuck?
gonna rape
Several
God,
times.
bro? Like, you're such an idiot. What? Gosh, you're a fucking idiot.
Did you hear this guy? And what's scary is that I'm willing to bet most Christians would simply explain this by denouncing him. Oh, he's not a true Christian, they'll say. Meanwhile, if you pressed most of them with their own doctrine, bring up how God commanded 10 women to be raped, essayed in front of Israel for the sons of his favorite, or bringing up the war brides that God said that the Israelites would make the young women captured do. Their mask falls off and they become just like this man who's ranting. I've seen it time and time again. For centuries, the Bible has been used to excuse the control of women's bodies, from purity culture to marital submission to silence around SA. We've been taught that a woman's suffering can somehow glorify God, that her pain is a test of faith, that it's even warranted due to the great fall, right? The creation story. They always take it all the way back to there. Eve did this to us. Eve brought this sin into the world. It's disgusting. We look at it as if, oh, if she was assaulted, maybe she was tempting. The same rhetoric, the same spirit. that excuses harm in one religion is quietly alive in another. It just wears nicer clothes and quotes the New Testament instead of the Quran. And when Christians are confronted with that reality, many hide behind apologetics, long explanations with the twist of cruelty into context, and turn harm into holiness. But what that man said on TikTok, that same thinking has existed in church pews and pulpits and family homes for generations now. It's the same foundation. The belief that women are responsible for male desire and that God approves that control. After all, going back to the creation story, he did place that curse on Eve, did he not? That we must submit to Adam. Ugh. So when I see people pointing fingers at Islam while ignoring what's in their own book, I have to say it's not righteousness, it's actually hypocrisy. Because abuse doesn't care about your religion. It thrives anywhere people protect doctrine over humanity. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you for staying with me through something that really isn't easy to talk about. I even had to wait a day to do it. When I saw it, I was riled up and I was just seeking all this information because I just had to get this off my chest. And I know that this video might have stirred emotions, anger, sadness, sorry, maybe even old memories. And I just want to take this moment to tell you to please take care of yourself after this. Step away, breathe, do something grounding. You don't have to carry the weight of this conversation alone. Not at all. That's why I want to build a community for us. What that man said on TikTok and what we see in religious systems around the world are not isolated events. They're reflections of what happens when people value belief over empathy and control over compassion. But there is something that does give me hope. We're talking about it now. We are unlearning. We are naming the harm out loud, and that's where healing starts. My issue has never been necessarily with the faith itself. It's how people twist it to silence, shame, and control. The way they do not acknowledge the harm that exists in this book. Faith in its purest form should never harm women. It should never protect predators. And it should never require a child to sacrifice her innocence for someone else's idea of what holiness is. So I don't care if you're listening to this video and you still believe you left your religion, or maybe you're even just figuring it out, deconstructing. I just want you to know this, that you do deserve safety, you do deserve freedom, and you do deserve a love that doesn't hurt to hold. I think I'm going to leave it right here. I want to thank you for listening. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll be back with more videos. This was a bit more impromptu. Again, I wasn't even sure I was going to do it just because of the sensitivity of the topic. But if I seek to deconstruct patriarchy, if I seek to unlearn the misogyny that I hold and have internalized, if we don't start calling out these religions for what they hold secretly behind closed doors, they will continue to thrive if we continue to ignore. Children will be harmed, women will be harmed. And that's not something that I am willing to stand by and just let slide, ignore. I can't do it anymore. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk soon.
Yes. I fall in love with myself, and I want someone to share it with me. I want someone to share me. Just me.